Using synthetic division to divide polynomials. As we've seen, long division of polynomials can involve many steps and be quite cumbersome. Synthetic division is a shorthand method of dividing polynomials for the special case of dividing by a linear factor whose leading coefficient is 1. To illustrate the process, recall the example that we did at the beginning of the section. We divide 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x plus 5 by x plus 2 using the long division algorithm. Now the final form of the process looked like this. We had x plus 2, we divided it into the dividend. The quotient we got was 2x squared minus 7x plus 18, and we got a remainder of negative 31. Okay, now keep in mind what we got there for our quotient and our remainder. Now there's a lot of repetition in the table. If we don't write the variables, but instead line up their coefficients in the columns under the division sign and also eliminate the partial products, we already have a simpler version of the entire problem. So here we write out the number 2. You can see the coefficient is 2 here, the coefficient is negative 3, and the coefficient here is 4, and the coefficient is 5. And you can see here we end up getting negative 2 and negative 4, negative 2 and negative 4, and then we get negative 7, and then we end up getting 14, and then we end up getting 18 minus 36, and then negative 31. Now, synthetic division carries this simplification even a few more steps. So we're going to collapse the table by moving each of the rows up to fill any vacant spots. Also, instead of dividing by 2, as we would in division of whole numbers, and then multiplying and subtracting the middle product, we change the sign of the divisor to negative 2, multiply, and then add. And the process starts by bringing down the leading coefficient. So here again we have our dividend and our divisor. So our dividend is 2x cubed minus 3x squared. So let me write that here. So we have 2x cubed minus 3x squared, and it's plus 4x plus 5. And then we're dividing that by x plus 2. Okay? Now, the one thing we want to be careful of is that we want to make sure that this is in the form of x minus. And then we're going to take the value of whatever that is here. So we got a minus 2, because x minus a negative 2 is the same thing as x plus 2. And so what we want to focus on is that we're concerned on this number here. And that's why we're looking at this sign of the divisor to be negative 2. Okay, so this is what we're going to do and how we're going to set this up. So we're going to take our divisor, we're going to use negative 2. Okay, so we're going to create sort of like a right angle here. And up here, we're going to write negative 2 for our number. And that's the number that we just chose over here. And then we're going to write the coefficients. So we have 2, and then we have negative 3, we have positive 4, and then we have positive 5. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do every time is by bringing down the leading coefficient. And the leading coefficient is the number 2. So we're going to bring that 2 down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our negative 2 and multiply it by the positive 2. So negative 2 times positive 2 is going to give us negative 4, and then we're going to put that right here. And then we're going to add. We're going to take negative 3 and add negative 4, and that's going to give us negative 7. Now we're going to take negative 2 and now multiply it by what we got by negative 7. Well, negative 2 times negative 7 is going to give us positive 14, and we're going to write that right below the 4. And then we're going to take the 4 in that coefficient and add it to the 14, and that's going to give us 18. Okay? And now we're going to take this negative 2 and then multiply it by the 18. Well, negative 2 times 18 gives us negative 36. And 5 plus negative 36 is going to give us negative 31. Now, if you take a look at 2, negative 7, 18, and negative 31, I want you to take a look at back up here. Well, the quotient was positive 2x squared minus 7x plus 18, and the remainder is negative 31. What we've done is we did our long division in a much quicker way. So basically, this part right here represents the remainder. And since this should have been x cubed, sorry, that should have been 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x plus 5. So we're going to go one lower. So what this means is now, this is now going to be 2x squared minus 7x plus 18. And our remainder is negative 31, and we're dividing it by the divisor, which would be x plus 2. So this is just a quicker version. So when we then multiply by the divisor and then and then repeating this process column by column until there are no entries left. Now the bottom row represents the coefficients of the quotient. The last entry of the bottom row is the remainder. In this case, the quotient is 2x squared minus 7x plus 18, and the remainder is negative 31. And so we will see this again in a much more clear way in example number 3. Now, synthetic division. Synthetic division is a shortcut that can be used when the divisor is a binomial in the form of x minus k, where k is a real number. In synthetic division, only the coefficients are used in a division process. Now again, if you notice here, it says in the form of x minus k. If you have something in the form of 2x minus k, that doesn't work. It's got to be in the form of x, meaning that the leading coefficient has to be a 1 there.